One of the features of our quarterly meetings is that we each go around and emphasize one of the areas that would be most interesting for the next quarter. The area that I chose was the Fed. The Fed, of course, has been in all the papers, all the news, and one day they're going to decline interest rates 4 times in the year. Another time they're not going to have any more interest rate declines. And whenever Powell talks, you never quite know, because last time they lowered rates, but he made a kind of a negative comment. So the Fed continues to be a very important area that we are keeping our eyes on. And as we look at our future in the next quarters to come, we think the Fed will continue to be a very strong influence on the markets.
Well, thanks, Dan. Well, one thing that jumped out to me in this quarterly strategy session was the appearance of tariffs. Tariffs are in the news. And as we looked at the materials, regardless of your politics, it was interesting to see how it might impact things in the coming quarter. And what we came away with, or what I came away with at least, is that in the short term, it's actually going to buoy domestic production, and but in the long term, of course, it is inflationary and drives uncertainty. So the surprising element might be that it's a short-term net positive for the economy, but in the long term, it poses risks, inflationary risks, and uncertainty. What about you, Len? What did you see?
One other thing that came up in our meeting is we talked a lot about the valuations in the market and how AI is impacting that. And AI is no question about it. It's a game changer as the technology goes. The last similar type of game changer that we saw was probably back in the 90s when the internet came about, and everything was going to change as a result of the internet. And frankly, a lot of things did change. But one very significant difference between now and then is that any technology that just claimed to be anything, any company that claimed they had anything to do with the internet, saw their valuations increase. And they didn't have to have revenue to support it. The AI companies right now are showing revenue, and they do have fundamentals that support this increased valuation. Now, we are somewhat concerned about, that area of the market maybe getting a little bit ahead and whether or not valuations start to get a little high, and we're keeping an eye on all of that. But overall, we think that this is a technology that is no question about it here to stay. It's going to impact almost everything in the entire economy, and we see that as something that is both a positive in the long term, but also something that we want to make sure we're keeping an eye on it and doing the right thing.